Welcome to another live reselling Q&A with myself, Jake. I go by Flips here on social media. I am a full-time reseller on eBay, Amazon, Poshmark, Mercari, and First Class Treasures. I have been doing this for over 4 years now, and I do these Q&As. I'm going to get to the topic of eBay sellers. We only have 3 main levers to increase sales, and the average reseller focuses on the wrong lever to get more sales. Now, I want to talk about the 3 levers and the most important one to get more sales. But if you guys are catching this live, go ahead and put in the comments your questions. If you guys have any questions about reselling, about eBay, Amazon, whatnot, First Class Treasures, Poshmark, Mercari, if you guys have any questions about policies and titles, item descriptions, everyone's favorite, promoted listings. If you guys have any questions about what items to look for and how to find them at yard sales and thrift stores and flea markets, go ahead and put your questions in the comments and we will get to them. I always never have really any questions by the time I'm done with the first portion of the video. Then I tell you guys to ask questions and then we have a ton of them. So if you want your questions answered, get them in early so that way we can just have a nice flow of the video. But anyway, also, if you guys have any questions about business in general, taxes, investments, I love talking about all that stuff. So the 3 levers to getting more sales on eBay are simple, but we as eBay sellers often choose the wrong lever to truly increase our sales. So the first lever that we have to increase our sales is listings, not the action of listing, but the noun. Our listings, don't get me wrong, it is very important how you construct your listings, but this is something that you can learn in under an hour, and it's something that you can master in your first month of reselling, and then you never have to worry about the structure of your listings or your title or your photos ever again. So the first lever that we have to increase our sales is by making sure that our titles are correct, that our item descriptions are correct, that our item specifics are relevant, and that our photos are good, and that our business policies, such as our returns, and our shipping policies are on par with what our customers actually want. That is ultra important, but the average reseller wastes too much time during their day to rework their listings, to adjust titles, to adjust prices, to delist and relist and all that stuff, which doing all of those things, again, is a lever to increase sales on eBay, and it will increase your sales on eBay when you improve your titles and your photos and your pricing. But we focus on that way too much because of the algorithm and because we can do it in our climate-controlled houses with our butts in seats just sitting on the computer. The second lever is much more effective and efficient, but is harder to figure out and requires a little bit more work, and that is marketing. Okay, so we can market our stores through social media. We can talk about the listings that we have active on our eBay stores, and we can funnel people over from our social media platforms to eBay. This isn't ultra effective, even as a influencer who has hundreds of thousands of followers across many platforms. My average, I get maybe 1 out of every 250 sales or 2 viewers, and it's usually by accident. They're like, "Oh, J Flips, I follow you on YouTube, thanks." But anyway, I don't actively really market my items. But within eBay, there are great ways to market our items through markdowns, coupons, newsletters, and different sales strategies. This is a lever that we can pull, especially when sales are slow. We can send offers to buyers. I recommend that you guys send offers every time they're available. Some people like to stack up a ton of offers over the week, over the day, over the month, things like that. But sending a 15 or 20% off offer usually gets a lot of bites. For every 30 offers that I send out, we'll make the math simpler. For every 10 offers that I send out, I usually get 2 sales if I do a 15% off offer. That's a 20% conversion, which in business, honestly, isn't even really heard of. Like in business, you're usually looking for a 5%, a 2 to 5% conversion on anything you do in business and marketing. So getting 20% off of a interested buyer's offer is amazing. But especially when your sales are slow, you can put your whole store 20% off, 15% off, whatever it is that you want to do. And that will dramatically increase your sales if your items are up to par. And you can start a newsletter, and you can do your newsletter through eBay. The eBay platform has a newsletter capabilities, which is actually a really cool feature. And you can be sending out a daily, weekly, or monthly newsletter as well that can drive traffic. And now the third and most important lever that we can use to increase our sales is, most of you probably guessed this, it's the actual items that we are listing into our eBay store. If your sales are slow because you have low demand, slow sell-through rate items, if you focus on sourcing and getting better and higher in demand items, your sales will improve dramatically. Dramatically. This is by far the most effective lever that you can pull to increase sales in your eBay store. That is just listing better items. Now, if we could already get our hands on these better, faster moving items, we would. So what it takes is becoming a better sourcer. It takes becoming a better person, a better business owner, just a better overall unit in order to find these items and list them. So it takes watching YouTube videos, doing Google searches, thrifting and yard selling more than you currently are right now, and being more strict on the items that you put into your store. The better your items, the better your life will be on eBay, for sure. So that's by far the most effective lever to pull in your business. The least effective, but still important, is having incredible listings. You want to make sure that your title, description, item specifics, and photos, as well as your business policies for your returns and your shipping, are locked in and are quality. But you don't have to keep revisiting that if you do it right the first time. So you just learn over time how to do your listings properly. The second is marketing by doing discounts, newsletters, and coupons, and some social media. And then the third is just actively sourcing better items with more demand and faster sell-through than your current eBay store. Now, all of these three things take time to generate more sales. The third one, having better items, is the fastest way to increase sales, but it still takes forever. If you have 100 items listed in your store, and it takes on average one whole year for your items to sell, then that means that you are getting one sell every 3 days. Now, I forgot how I was going to do this equation. All right, let's go. If you have 1,000 listings with a 50% sell-through rate, that means you are selling 500 per day, per 90 days. If you double your store to 2,000 and maintain a 50% sell-through rate, then you will sell 1,000 items every 90 days. But strictly just increasing your sell-through rate without making any changes is almost impossible. That's why this is the most effective lever, because it is the hardest to execute, and not as many people are willing to do it. If you have a 1,000 item store, 50% sell-through rate, you're selling 500 items every 90 days, and you've convinced yourself that you are going to get your store to a 100% sell-through rate or faster. So you only list 100% sell-through rate items in your store. If you list 500 of them over 90 days, then you are going to double your sales. But it takes 90 days in this process to double that. And so the process takes longer than you think it does. If you have a 50% sell-through rate and you increase it to an 80% sell-through rate, 90 days later, you don't have an 80% sell-through rate yet, because you still have half of those slower sell-through rate items. So it's going to take you an additional probably 60 days to get your store to an 80% sell-through rate store, which is a 130-day process, 150-day process. So it's going to take a minute. But listing better items into your store is going to increase your sales dramatically. It's going to increase the cash flow of your business. You will be spending less money on faster selling items. It's awesome. The average reseller is buying and listing 25 very slow sell-through rate items in their store, and they would make more money and actually have more sales if they just listed 7 faster sell-through rate items in their store. But for some reason, it is super popular to just list low quality inventory day after day, every single day. I don't recommend doing that. If you guys have any questions about eBay, about Poshmark, Mercari, Amazon, first class treasures, whatnot, if you guys have any questions about reselling the listings such as your photos or your titles, item descriptions, your business policies, like whether you should do free returns or paid returns, if you guys have questions about promoted listings, if you guys have questions about what items to look for and how to get them at thrift stores and yard sales and flea markets, if you guys have any general questions about business mindset or business practices, if you guys have any questions about taxes or investments, I would love to answer any and all questions. We have significantly less viewers than normal today, just 52, 11 minutes in. If you guys could hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. So hopefully we can get more people into this live. We usually have over 100, and today that has been cut in half. Anyway, let's get to your guys' questions. How long did it take you of listing every day to build your eBay store enough that you were able to live off of your eBay income? For me, it was 2 months. That is not average for sure. That is not really doable for most people at all. I am just insane. When I first started doing eBay reselling, my wife was a full-time student and college athlete, and I had nothing to do but work. So I was working 18 hours a day. I would sleep for 6, and then of course I would take breaks, go for walks, eat, and do all those things. But for 16, 18 hours a day, I was working, and I was giving it my all. I recommend, it usually takes about a year for you to get to a sizable income. And then usually it takes at least 1 more year after that to go full time. Of course, depending on what your bills are, what your needs are, and what your spending habits are. If you buy a lot of Lululemon and Ninja Turtles, you're not going to be able to go full time very quickly. But if you just eat a lot of rice and beans and you wear Old Navy clothes, then you're going to get there a lot faster. So there's so many factors that go into that. But for me, it only took 2 months because I just eat rice and beans. I don't care about my clothing, so it's all ultra cheap. And I really, really like working, so I worked really hard. Found a vintage pizza baker today in good condition. Oh, nice. Good stuff. Yeah, vintage pizza makers can definitely make some good money. Is it like kind of circular yet rectangular with the 2 stand legs? What can I do to maximize my time? I have FOMO. The most important thing you can do is source. If you only had 10 hours per week, I would spend 1 hour listing, 1 hour packing, and 8 hours sourcing, and just getting better and better and better and better at sourcing. And then the better you get, hopefully the more items you're getting, so you need to spend a little more time shipping and packaging and listing. But the thing that you can do to maximize your time the most is to get better at sourcing. Now, this does not mean source as often as possible and buy as much as possible. No, this is going to more thrift stores and more yard sales and being pickier and only picking up high demand items to put in your eBay store. Sometimes you can go thrifting for an hour and get 100 items from a thrift store that have under a 10% sell-through rate. People do this all the time with CDs, t-shirts, hats. There's tons of CDs that have over 100% sell-through rate. There's tons of hats that have over 100% sell-through rate. There's tons of shirts that have over 100% sell-through rate, but there's not 100 in your store at one time. Guarantee that. Unless, of course, a huge collection just came in and they just threw it all on the shelf at once. But I'm not saying to buy more. I am saying to spend more time finding these high quality items. So if you go to one thrift store and you find 3 items that have a fast sell-through rate, go to another one and another one and another one and another one. And hopefully you walk away with 10 to 15 items instead of just grabbing 40 to 50 items that have an awful sell-through rate because you want to maximize your time listing. You're not going to make as much money. You're going to spend more time to make less money doing it that way. You said before you get lost and founds from casinos. Did you go in person or did you email them? I have a ton of casinos around me and emailed them but never heard back. Look up on YouTube business to business selling, and I would recommend spending thousands of dollars on courses if you can find good ones, because this is the hardest thing you'll ever do. Just emailing and going up in person 1 or 2 or even 15 times to the same location will bear you 0 fruit. This is the hardest thing you will ever do. I recommend spending thousands of dollars and paying business to business sales professionals to train you on this. Otherwise, you may get lucky. If you talk to 400 casinos, you may get lucky with one, but without business to business sales training, you're not. There's already people doing this in your area, and the only way to secure it is to take it from them. And most of these people that already have this connection are people that have a lot of influence in your town or city, or they have incredible business to business sales skills, and they're not going to easily allow you to take it from them. It's the most difficult thing you'll ever do. What is the best way to maximize my time per store? I usually get FOMO and I try to double back and end up just wasting hours of my time. Are you talking about like going through the thrift store? Just pick your favorite section that has quality items. For me, it's electronics. Go to electronics first. Then I head to eyeglasses. And then I head to, sorry, there's a big old lot of cameras ending in 2 minutes on eBay that I'm interested in. It's already too expensive. Also, I was going to, why is this not showing up on my YouTube? This is so weird. Did I accidentally cast it to JWright Picks? No, this is so weird. Why is it not showing up at all? Let me go to the actual YouTube app. Sorry. Please keep asking questions and we'll get to them. I am just updating the thumbnail of this video, if it will let me. Why is it not showing up? That is so weird. All right. Hi, Jake. Carolyn here in the Pacific Northwest. You are a hero of mine. eBay recently refunded my mistaken bold fees. Now I've discovered 6 weeks of Christmas fees I never utilized. Any experience with Christmas fees? Thanks for the kind words, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Christmas fees? I now discovered 6 weeks of Christmas fees I never utilized. I have no idea what that is, but are you talking about, like, do you have eBay credits? Did eBay credit you like money to shop within eBay? I have no idea what that is. Any more information and clarity would be awesome. Also, we're already running out of questions. So if any of you guys have questions about reselling, please ask them. I want to hang out with you guys for 2 hours, but if there's no questions, then I have to get off in like 10 minutes. So please ask questions. Even if you've asked it before, it won't bother me. Even if you already know half of the answer, but you want a little more clarity, I'd love to hang out with you guys for a while. Curious to know your biggest item size, weight-wise, you have flipped. Mine was a Tommy Bahama roller cooler. Thanks, and keep pumping out the videos. They help so much. Appreciate it, Reseller Nest. The biggest thing I've ever shipped on eBay was a business weight scale that they use at butcher shops. So it was like 75 pounds, and it was a long scale, and then it had a pole and a sign that you could read how much the weight was, and it did not disassemble. So I shipped it in a huge Amazon box that we get our dog food in, and then a second box, so it looked like a huge right angle, and we shipped it that way. That was fun. What kind of marketing do you think works well if you don't want to get the influencer route and do more with non-eBay sites? I'm behind the camera kind of person versus being in front. Yeah, I talked about that earlier. Newsletters, discounts. So basically, you're just think of yourself as Walmart, and yeah, do a sale, send out a newsletter to your followers, let people know, hey, we're doing a sale, or just simply mark your whole store down 25%, things like that. How's life and sales doing, bro? Appreciate that question, man. Life's great. Sales are great. Both things are going great right now. Let's see how we're doing on the day. So on eBay, we are up to $493.13. We've sold 11 items for an average of $44.83, and the day is about half over. So hopefully we can get up to $1,000 today with 20 or so sales. That'd be awesome. And then, yeah, the rest of the week has looked like that as well. So good stuff. Life is awesome. My wife and I are going on our anniversary trip pretty soon, so that's going to be super fun. We're going to Glacier National Park. If any of you guys have recommendations for Glacier, please put them in the comments. I think we're going to go to Lake McDonald, and then we might stay at the St. Mary's campsite. But other than that, food, hikes, things like that, we haven't planned a whole ton. So if you guys have any experience over there, please check it out. Please let me know. Sorry. Also, John, the GOAT, just posted about firstclasstreasures.com. That is my reselling website where you can buy and sell anything. Click the link, and then please download the District app so that way you guys can get notified when we go live, because it's a fun time hanging out with everybody live. Even if you don't want to buy anything or sell anything, it's an awesome place to connect with me and my community, and it's my baby. So I really would appreciate it if you guys would join my new platform. It is the first link in the description below. Also, looking into investing, have any ways to learn trading? Yeah, honestly, YouTube is the best place to learn anything. You just have to make sure that the person on the YouTube screen has either credentials or experience or knows what they're talking about. I recommend just investing in ETFs. So there's single stocks and there's ETFs. So you could buy Apple and it can go up 80%. It could also go down 80%. And there's no real way of telling which businesses are going to go belly up. Apple is a very safe company. They're one of the best in the world. But everyone said that about Cisco in the 2000s, and it dropped like 90%. So ETFs, however, take the top 500 performing companies in the S&P 500, which is the highest quality companies in the United States. And as one company begins to plummet, it is replaced with a different one. So usually the stock just continues to grow over time. Of course, there's dips just like anything else, but when you're invested in an ETF, you have a little bit more risk protection, because Airbnb is something that I'm invested in pretty heavy. I am up over 700% since my first investment. So I'm up a ton. But Airbnb could go out of business because of regulation from the government. It could go out of business because of competitors, or they do something that the public doesn't like and people stop using them, right? But it's part of that ETF. And if Airbnb starts to suck, then it would drop off that list and it would be replaced with another company that will continue to perform. So I like ETFs for beginners, and I like the Roth IRA. I would max out your Roth IRA every single year, which is, I believe, $7,000 per person. So I max out mine and I max out my wife's every single year. So we invest $14,000 into our Roth IRAs. When you take this money out in your retirement, it will be tax-free, which is awesome. Super awesome. So I really recommend the Roth IRA. If you are employed, I definitely recommend maxing out the match on your 401k. And that's actually where I would start. Before the Roth IRA, I would max your match on your 401k because that's free money. So your Roth IRA, your 401k, the average person can invest, I think it's $24,000 per year into your 401k. It depends on your employer, and your employer will match anywhere from 4 to 8% of that. And so I would get to at least the 4 or 6 or 8% of that 401k, which we'll say is $1,000. You put in $1,000, and your job puts in another $1,000 of free money for you, and that $2,000 grows in the stock market. So start with your 401k. I would recommend just investing in ETFs, maybe VOO. I invest into VOO, SCHD, and QQQ. Just 33% in each of those stocks is my entire retirement portfolio. And then on the side, I also have fun investments that are in my taxable brokerage with Airbnb. I've got some Apple, got some Google, Estee Lauder. Actually, I have a lot of Estee Lauder and Starbucks. That's fun. But anyway, do those two things. The third thing that I would recommend is actually maxing out your HSA account, your health savings account. That is a triple advantage taxed account, and you will have a ton of medical bills in the later years of your life. But we can talk about that a little bit more if you guys are interested. Patty says, I have been fortunate to have experienced a great year so far, averaging a 70K 90-day total, but have been plateauing and losing my momentum. That's awesome. There's nothing wrong with plateauing at 70K. Just in order to get that to 90K or 100K, you're going to have to spend more money. But the best thing to do in business, in my opinion, unless you are looking to sell your business down the road, which this isn't really a business model that you can sell. You could sell your inventory and maybe your shop name if someone was interested, but it's not really like, oh, spend $100 million, build this as big as we can, and then sell it to another company for $1 billion. That's not what we're doing. So what's better as a solo or entrepreneur that has a few employees in this business is scale and then get to a point where you naturally plateau and then just stay there for a while. You're spending the exact same amount of money or less to maintain that. And so your cash flow is going up. But if you're just constantly investing all of your profits back into the business, you don't actually get to save money or use it to enhance your lifestyle and your relationships. So I would just stay at 70K for a while. You don't need to always be growing. But if you want to scale it to the next level, then your profit margin will most likely go down. If you're at 70,000, right now you are maxed out on finding the profitable inventory at the margin it currently is in your area. You can stay within your area and you can get more items, but you have to pay more money for them. So if your average cost of goods is $5 and your average sales price is $40, you can keep the average sales price of $40, maybe even get it up to $50 or $60, but you also have to increase your cost of goods as well. And that's okay because you'll make more money in the long run, but your margin will be smaller. And that's perfectly fine. If your margin is like 50 to 60% right now, hey, thank you, Adam, for joining First Class Treasures. Appreciate that. If you are making a 50 or 60% margin right now and you increase your stock and your margin goes down to 40%, but you increase your sales by 50%, you're making more money. And that's what I've done in my business lately. So my average cost of goods used to be $4.50. Now my average cost of goods is $16. So my average cost of goods has quadrupled, but my sales have more than quadrupled. So it's awesome. So instead of selling $4.50 items for $35 shipped with tax, now I am selling $16 items for $70 shipped, and I'm making more money. Motivate. Hey, just wanted to thank you again for buying my remote lot and the shadow. I hope you made some good money. Indeed, I did. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, thank you so much. And if you guys have any remotes, cameras, AirPods, or sunglasses that you guys want to sell to me in bulk, you can message me at jredflips@gmail.com. I am happy to take a look at your items, and if they're good, I'll buy them. If it's just junk, then I'll politely say no thanks. How do you source and clean your watches? I get the majority of my watches from eBay. I just type in watch lot. Hundreds go up every single hour. It's insane. Like watches are one of the most sold items on eBay. And I just clean them with $1.25 with Dollar Tree spray. It's nice. Hi, Jake. Question is about listing fees like bold titles, subtitles. eBay just refunded me 1.5 years of bold fees for Thanksgiving to Christmas. They were daily fees. I never signed up for them. Oh, okay, cool. So you're asking what to do with that? Is it just cash money, liquid, or is it credits on eBay? If it's credits on eBay, then just buy profitable lots on eBay and flip them back on eBay. If it's liquid money, reinvest it into your business, pay your bills, take your kids to a movie. I don't know. Anything you want. It's your money. That's awesome, though. It sucks that you got charged those fees in the first place, but it is nice to get that lump sum of cash. So I guess that's cool. Grabbed an old Litton Royal calculator from the 70s, I think, for $4. Ever sold one of these before? It shows it's 70-ish, but not many of this model have been listed or sold. I've never heard of a Litton Royal calculator. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Sandra, for joining First Class Treasures. You guys are awesome. Litton Royal. My Wi-Fi is not the best today. I'm glad you guys can hear me clearly, though. Litton Royal calculator. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, if there aren't, but there's not many of this model has been listed or sold, just go off the comps. Whether only one is sold or 85 have sold, just go off the sold comps, and you'll be able to get a good price and sell it. Good find. Hi, is there an app other than eBay to find out sold prices or just general resale value? Nah, just use eBay. eBay sold, like, people use TCG for Pokemon cards, and they use this third-party app for video games, and it's always off. Like, people always, especially on Facebook, they try to like clown me on my videos. The other day I found a Mario Party 6 for GameCube, and I said it's worth $115 because that's what I sold it for. And then everyone was using this other third-party software, and they're like, this guy's a liar. This only sells for 80. It's like, on your stupid app, they might say that it sells for 80. But someone already bought it on eBay. A real person bought it for 115. So I would definitely go off of eBay comps for sure. It is the truest way to see what things are actually selling for. What do you use for bookkeeping, QuickBooks? I am a professional S corporation, so I have a whole tax team that takes care of everything for me. So I would get and John, I know what you're building for a business. I would definitely recommend going to a CPA, filing for S corp, and getting all of that taken care of, because the tax benefits are awesome. Don't do it on your own. Do you use AI software for listing items? One of the veteran resellers, Tech and Sports, has released his software that basically does the whole listing process for you. I'm on the waiting buy list. Nope, I use my phone for everything. If you use Tech and Sports' way of listing, then this AI software is going to make a lot of sense for you, because you take your pictures with a camera, and then either with the cloud or with a wire, you transfer them to your computer, and then you type out your listings manually, which takes a long time. How I list things is I just look up hyper tough 12-foot measuring tape. This is a bad example because this probably has 0 sales. Here, I'll just do this. I type in Canon IX100 IS, and then I click on a photo. I click on a listing that has already sold, and I copy it. I take photos with my phone, so it's just one process. And my wife listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 cameras in 35 minutes today. So I definitely recommend just listing with your phone. You can try out Tech's listing software if you list in Tech's way. And I'm not talking crap on Tech and Sports, but listing with your phone is just significantly faster than AI. So I would do it that way. But if you are listing with a camera and then shuttling those photos to your computer and then listing on your computer, an AI assistant will probably be faster. But what's even faster than that, selling similar with your cell phone. Like, I used to be in the tech and sports and daily refinements group, and they would clown on people that used their phones. They said that using their way was significantly faster, but it just wasn't, man. Like, if you know how to use the cell phone, it's so much faster. Like, it's so much faster. Thanks, Jake. After being refunded bold fees where a title was not bolded times 18 months, I discovered 6 weeks of holiday fees I never chose. Any experience with holiday fees? Yeah, I've already answered this question. Looks like he asked it about 4 times. I don't like any experience with holiday fees. I don't understand that question. Daily. Oh. Biscuit, but Jake working even win live. Oh, gotta do it, man. But I didn't win. I didn't win the lot, unfortunately. But since we've been live, I sold a Lululemon bag for $30 and a Breville Smart Oven for $47. Look at that thing. Probably can't really see it, but also everyone check out Biscuit Butt. I believe one day he's going to start making YouTube videos again. So go subscribe to him. So when he eventually does do that video in the next 2 months to 2 years, you can watch it. How often do you lower your prices? Every 90 days. So once an item, like every morning, anywhere between 5 and 30 items will hit 90 days. And I just delist those, mark them down 15%, and then relist them. And sometimes it's only 5 items per day. Sometimes it's 22. Sometimes it's 16. Just whatever it is. It's usually around 15. I'm an everything seller. I want to go full time, but I want to list 25 to 30 items a day. My issue is sourcing enough items daily. Thoughts? Eddie, I think you have the wrong mindset. And it's not your fault that you have this mindset. Other YouTubers have convinced you guys that there's this terrible thing called the eBay algorithm, and if you don't list enough items per day, you won't get enough sales. But I can disprove that with just a simple math formula. You don't need to list 25 to 30 items per day, because right now you're not sourcing 25 to 30 items per day. So in order to get, if you could be sourcing 25 to 30 per day, you would already be doing it. Right now, you can't. So the only way to get 25 to 30 listings per day is to sacrifice the quality of your items and pick up lower demand, lower sell-through rate items in pursuit of your goal to 25 to 30. A much better thing to do is to want to make $1,000 per day or $500 per day or $100 per day, whatever your goal is, and then just look for those items. Don't be worried about, oh, I want a 4,000 item store or 10,000 item store, or I want to list 25 items per day. All that's going to do is fill your store with a lot of bloat and junk. Thank you guys for hitting the like button. We're up to about 95 viewers now, which is just barely below normal. Appreciate that. It was a little rougher 25 minutes ago. But anyway, don't chase store size, just chase making more money. So if I could find 25 of these cameras every single day, I would list 25 of them, but I can't. And I have multiple suppliers across the country, and I am looking for them on eBay and Facebook and everywhere I can. And all I do is I list all of the quality items that I can find, which is usually around 20 per day. But if I just wanted to just bump up to 40, my store would suffer from it. I would sell slightly more items every single day over a very long time period. But if I am just picking up items just to list them, oh, dude, like, I really hope Eddie and other people that are in his situation are listening to me. Your life can be so much better just listing good items. If you only find 4 that day, just list 4. If you find 22 that day, list 22. If you find 0, list 0. Just don't list anything. So The Daily Refinement group back in the day talked about what's called reseller nirvana, which is the mindset that Eddie is currently in. He wants to list 25 per day. And if he does that and maintains the same average sell through rate for his items, eventually he will get to where he's listing 25 per day and selling 25 per day. If you have a 50% sell through rate store, that means you would have to have, if you wanted to sell 25 every day, and you had a 50% sell-through rate store, you would need a 4,500 item store to do that. So maybe you're at 2,000 right now, and you are listing 25 and selling 6. You're going to get to 4,500 pretty quick. But if you're only selling 6, you're going to have to get to like 18,000 to sell your 25 per day. What you should do instead is have the goal to sell 25 items per day. Now that's tough, but I would start smaller. If you're selling 6 per day right now, I would have the goal to sell 10 per day. And that doesn't mean list 15 per day so you can start selling 10. It means look for 10 quality items or 15 every single day. And if you fall short of that, that's okay, but your store is just going to grow over time. So the reseller nirvana. So Tech and Sports would say that he would list 120 per day. And then one day he's just like, boom, I'm going to list 250. And this isn't an exact quote, and I don't want to speak for him. But in his podcast, he said it took, I think he said like 11 months, almost a whole year, for eBay to reward him the 250 sales per day. And I think that language is incorrect. I think it's more of a math equation. So basically, Tech and Sports and Daily Refinement would teach that you have to groom the algorithm. And if you list every single day the same amount of items with similar sell-through rate and you're constantly doing that, eventually eBay will reward you with that nirvana. But it's not eBay rewarding you with it at all. It's your customers. And it's a math equation. So if you have 1,000 items at a 50% sell-through rate, you will sell 500 items every 90 days on average. If you list the exact same sell-through rate of items, if you're listing 10 per day, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place here. If you list 10 items per day that have a 50% sell-through rate and you sell 5 per day, if you list 20 and you have a 50% sell-through rate, the exact same sell-through rate, it's going to take you 180 days to start selling, to start to double your sales. And this just has everything to do with math. It has nothing to do with eBay rewarding you sales because of its algorithm. If you have 1,000 items at a 50% sell-through rate, you'll sell 500. If you work really hard and you get an additional 200 items, so now you have 1,200 and it's still at a 50% sell-through rate, then you will sell 1 or 2 more items per day. And as you keep listing more and more and more and more and more items, then you will sell more. So Tech and Sports was listing 120 and he was selling 120. Then he started listing 250. And after a few weeks, he probably started selling 135 because he increased his store size by a few hundred items and he had that same sell-through rate. And so he sold more items. Then as his store grew, he sold more items. It had nothing to do with eBay testing him and seeing if they were going to allow a certain amount of traffic after he proved he could list the same amount of items every single day forever. It just had everything to do with math. If you have 10,000 items at a 100% sell-through rate, you will sell 10,000 every 90 days on average. If you list an extra 10,000 and you have 20,000 items at a 100% sell-through rate, you will sell 20,000 items. 17,000, same thing. So as you grow your store, you have more active items and you will sell more items based on the demand and sell-through rate of your items. I hope that made sense. Probably didn't. I list some items that have bad sell-through rate because they have high profit margins, such as car parts. I will sit on them even for a few years. Yeah, that's great. That's a great business model too. I do the same thing. I have a few like $600, $700, $800 items that have an abysmal sell-through rate, but they do sell. And if they're only 5 or 10 or even $100, and it takes 2 or 3 years to sell, your stock portfolio will not go up 550% in 2 or 3 years. So that's definitely a worthwhile investment. I have hundreds of rare, super niche, vintage DJ records I need to sell, but I'm not sure where I can sell them. They are, I guess, white labels, promos, remixes, technically bootleg. If they're technically bootleg, you're not legally allowed to sell them anywhere. So if you sell them on eBay, they'll get taken down and you could possibly go to jail. If you sell them on Whatnot, you could possibly go to jail. So I just, unfortunately, would take my loss on those, because if you sell anything that you know is bootleg, even if you don't know that it's bootleg and it turns out to be bootleg, you can still go to jail. So don't list anything that is against the law anywhere. Have you ever shopped the Goodwill Bins store? If so, did you have much luck finding anything? Yeah. The bins, I go to the bins. I had more luck in Las Vegas than I do here in Salt Lake. But if you are a seasoned picker, you can find money anywhere. If you stay long enough, if you go often enough, and if you try hard enough. Every single bins location is different, but you can make money at every single bins location in America. What is your most sold brand? Probably Coach or Sony. I sell a lot of Coach eyeglasses, and I sell a lot of Sony cameras and PlayStations and Walkmans and things like that. Probably Coach and Sony are my two biggest. Best resources for locating yard, garage, and estate sales. I just use Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace is the best. It's a little bit harder to organize sometimes, but I just use Facebook Marketplace in my local area. It sounds like my wife is home and my dog is barking. Mainly using Craigslist right now. Yeah, I would add Facebook. What are your thoughts on scarcity retail arbitrage resellers, i.e. buying up all the stock of retail items, not emergency basic supplies? Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, do what is morally acceptable to you and puts food on your dinner, on your table, right? Yeah, if Prime Energy, the energy drink from Logan Paul and KSI, if it's only $1.28 at Walmart and it's consistently selling for $18 a bottle on eBay, I'm buying as many as I can. So, all right, let's go take a field trip. Unless my dog is finally done barking. Let me see if my wife got home. Let's check out our Stalker app. Oh, my wife is not home. So my dog keeps barking. We'll go check on her. But Scout, hey, come on. There's no one out there. Come here. Scout, I have a camera. There is no one on our porch. Sorry, I meant I spend too much doubling back in the same stores I've already hit, and how long do you source for? So what I do is I go into a store and I go to my favorite sections that have the fastest, most profitable flips for me, which is electronics. And then I go to the eyeglasses, then I go to the collectibles case, then I go to the outside. And I do one sweep pretty fast, especially because I go open. There's a lot of competition and people are running and they're trying to get your items. So I do one quick sweep and then I do another slow sweep and then I get out of there. That's how I do it. How's it going, Jax? Jax Clothing. Appreciate you being here. Jax Clothing is one of the top sellers on First Class Treasures. If you guys have joined the platform, or if you guys are thinking about joining the platform, make sure you follow Jax Clothing. She has really good deals on clothes, trading cards, all the stuff. She does really well. Do you think listing steadily over the week works better, or do it one day with lots of listings? So you're probably pretty new to my channel. It doesn't matter. If you have 15 good items, just list the 15 good items. Don't break it up into 1 a day for 15 days, or 2 a day for 7 days, or 3 a day for 5, or 5 a day for 3. Just list them. And if you can't find any other items after those 15, that's okay. Just when you get good items, list them. I am blessed enough that I have a business model to where I can list 20 items every single day because I have found the ability and skill to source that many items. But back in my days when I was just starting and going to thrift stores and yard sales, I wish that I wouldn't have fallen into the trap of listing 10 per day and then 15 per day and then 20 per day. I wish there was a J-Ride Flips from the future that was talking on YouTube to me and said, hey man, if you only find 4 high quality sell-through rate items that day, only list 4. If you only find 4 high sell-through rate quality items that week, only list 4 that week. And your store will be better, your cash flow will be better, and your bank account will be better. I wish, like, a lot of people think I'm preaching or I have hidden agendas or something like that. I'm just giving the information that I wish I had when I started, or I wish I had during year 2 or year 3. My knowledge and experience continues to expand. But too many people are stuck on the reseller nirvana concept of just listing the same amount of items every single day, no matter what, even if the quality of the items suck. And Tech and Sports and Daily Refinement honestly don't even preach that. But that is the human condition, is we don't hear the nuance, we just hear the rule, right? So Tech and Sports doesn't say, hey, list 80 low quality items. He says list quality items, but the problem is he says list the exact same amount every single day. Even though he tells you don't list the garbage, just list good items. If you could be finding more quality items, you would already be doing that. So when people hear you have to list 20 items every day, no matter what, they list 20 items every day, no matter what, and they pick up garbage items. They pick up items. They find 3 cameras that have over a 100% sell-through rate, and they find 3 or 4 more items that have a 50% sell-through rate. They list those 7, and then they list 13 other garbage 20% or slower sell-through rate items because someone told them that they need to list the same amount of items every single day or eBay will throttle their traffic. List good items. So if you have 15 good items today, list them today, regardless of what happens tomorrow. If you have 7,000 good items to list today, then yeah, pick 15 per day or 20 per day, 25 per day, whatever you can handle, and just tackle those 7,000 items. But if you have 0 items right now, only list good items that have good demand and sell-through rate, and your business and your bank account will thank you, I promise. Definitely come to First Class Treasures, great sellers, fun, good products. Appreciate that, Jax. You're awesome. You're awesome. There's 120 of you guys in here now. Thank you so much for being here. I think it has to do with me like live selling and putting those videos over here on YouTube. It like hurts these lives at the beginning. Like I only had 50 of you guys in here 45 minutes ago. But now the momentum has built. I think a lot of you guys are liking the video, which I super appreciate. Let's see how many likes it's at right now. Oh, wow. I almost just lost you guys. I almost exited out of this. That was scary. All right, let's go to my videos. Looks like there are 57 likes. That's awesome. Appreciate it, guys. You guys are awesome. All right. I have big heavy audio equipment to sell but don't want to ship. What do you think about paying a monthly booth where locals can buy through that company and pick up? If that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good option. Another good option is just posting it on Facebook Marketplace. If you're comfortable with people showing up to your house, you can just have them come to your house and take it out of your garage for you. I have had dozens of people do that. Once we start having kids, I may stop doing that just for that extra protection for my kids. But if you aren't comfortable with people coming to your house, just say, hey, yeah, I have this item. Can you meet at Kroger in 30 minutes or at the police station in 2 hours or whatever time is good for you? But please, like, actually let me know if you're not going to come, because I don't want to waste my time or your time. So you can sell on Facebook. You can do that consignment thing, monthly booth, or you can do an antique store. A lot of people do that. You can sell anything in an antique store. So like Knickknacks, for example. Knickknacks is an awesome website. It's in the district platform where I started my platform, First Class Treasures. But anyway, Knickknacks started as like a glass and decorations only, and they have moved into like an everything selling platform. And I think that's because when you go to an antique store, the most of the people that go to antique stores are glass and vintage and decoration hunters, right? But they bring with them their husband who likes baseball gloves and cards. Or maybe this lady that I'm talking about likes Pokemon cards and baseball mitts. And so she buys those too. So what I've noticed with other YouTubers that have antique shops, and when I go to antique shops, is it's not all just glass and decorations. There's sealed Pokemon cards, there are cameras, there are baseball bats. You can sell anything. So I'd recommend putting those big items at your antique shop as well, if you have a booth. Guys, I'm having fun. We're an hour in. There's 123 of you guys in here. Most of you guys have most of you guys have liked the video. This is awesome. I'm so blessed to be here. Can you talk about bulk lots, cameras, watches, etc. on eBay? What do you look for? What to avoid? Any insights would be appreciated. Thanks for all your tips, advice, and knowledge you put out there. Awesome, Ken. Ken Dryden, I've seen you on First Class Treasures. Thank you for joining and hanging out with us. So yeah, I'm not a gatekeeper. I want you guys to make more money because of me. It'd be awesome. So right here, I have saved searches. As you guys can see, it says iPod lot. You probably can't see, but it says iPod lot, earbuds lot, remote controls lot, camera lot, all that stuff, right? I have that set to where it's just keeping all of that information organized for me. And about once a day, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times, I'll just go into those listings and I will scroll through and I'll look for ones. So if I see, like if you can do this with Disney pins, Pokemon cards, video games. I wouldn't really recommend doing it with large items, but you could do it with baseball bats and stereo equipment if you wanted to. But just whatever you like to sell, look up those lots and you'll get better and better over time at identifying which lots have good items. And if you can see that there's a lot with 20 remotes and it's only $40, so $2 per remote, probably at least 9 of those remotes have a 0% sell-through rate. So, but 3 of them have a decent sell-through rate at $10. 3 of them have a really good sell-through rate at $25, and then 2 of them have a not so good sell-through rate but sell for $40. And so you just list those top tier ones, and then you can bundle the slower moving ones and put them back on eBay. Or what I like to do on First Class Treasures, you can put them as a static bulk listing on eBay or First Class Treasures, or you can sell them live on First Class Treasures, because there's other people out there that have the volume business model that they'll take your remotes for 75 cents each or $1.25 each, or even the $2 each, and they'll list all of them for $10 and sell them slowly, things like that. So, but yeah, it's an awesome business model if you can figure it out. I'm going to invest in MSTY, I think, monthly dividend ETF of strategy, previously MicroStrategy. Monthly dividends are cool on paper. I'm invested in O, that real estate company that specializes in commercial real estate. They pay a monthly dividend. I used to be invested in SCHP, which is a monthly dividend, but I did the math, and the monthly dividend is like, it's sexy. It's got like that psychological feeling of like, wow, I get paid every month, but it usually has higher fees associated with it. And usually the return is smaller than if you just had a normal quarterly dividend. But yeah, do what's best for you. Sounds like it's a decent investing strategy. And of course, don't listen to some 29-year-old on the internet. Just moved to Utah from California. Is there a bidding site where I could pick up returned Amazon stuff to resell on eBay? We had one in California called Just Bid. Found it as a good source. Thanks for your help. Yeah, if you just type in auction near me into Google, no matter where you live, Utah, California, Kentucky, New York, you can find great locations. I don't do that sourcing, so I'm not sure of any, but I'm sure there's 50,000. What city did you move to? You can be vague. Like, is it Salt Lake, Provo, Beaver? Let me know. Are the lots you get off eBay auctions or buy it nows? How do you avoid any FOMO buying if there are auctions? There are auctions. I don't have advice for FOMO buying because I never do it. I just emotionally am not wired that way. If it's a good deal, I buy it at the price that I'm comfortable with. If not, I move on. I mostly sell cash secured puts and covered calls right now, the wheel strategy. Oh, nice. Good old day trader. I do a little bit of day trading every once in a while when I'm bored, which is very rare because I'm almost never bored. But I'm just a long-term investor. I don't really sell ever. I've never really sold any of my stocks. I'm just holding on to all of them. Do you use credit card rewards for shipping labels? I got a card for 3x points, but in the fine print it says points are only to be used for business purposes. Curious to hear your thoughts. Yeah, absolutely. I use Pirate Ship, and I have the Inc. Business Preferred, which you may also have because it's times 3 points. And Brindley and I go to the Bahamas or Hawaii twice a year for free. It's awesome. I'm shipping out probably. I think last year my shipping labels cost me $86,000, and so I got like 240,000 points just from that. It's awesome, and 240,000 points is a trip for two. Is 2 trips for two to like the Bahamas from Utah. It's pretty dope. I made 65K over 30 days. That's insane. Those are some really good numbers. Lag, how you doing, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Your Eagles won. Congrats. Are they going to win again this year? Thanks for being here, Lag. Miss you, old friend. My investment total was 5K from the 65K. That's awesome. Yeah, $60,000 minus fees and shipping. You've made some really good money. Good job, man. I saw you mentioned you have a fanny pack you bring with batteries, multimeters. Can you tell us more about the kit and some items? It's been helpful. Yeah, I'll probably actually eventually start like a reseller fanny pack that comes with. Guys, if I started my own battery company, you know how like Harry Tornado has started to sell soap? I've considered selling batteries. I would sell a lot of them statically, and then also on my First Class Treasures live shows. They're just batteries that you guys can use to test your cameras and controllers and all that stuff. But anyway, I have a fanny pack, and I would consider making a fanny pack and including batteries and a black light. So my fanny pack has 4 AA batteries and 4 AAA batteries. It also has a multimeter. It has a black light, and it has headphones that have an aux extension, a USB-C extension, and a lightning extension. So I can test all of those various things. And then I also have a CD in there. This isn't really necessary for thrift stores, or really anywhere, because almost all garage sales have CDs and DVDs for sale as well. But I also have a CD and a DVD in there that I can pop into DVDs and CD players to see if they work. I'm pretty much a clothing seller, but I would like to start listing some electronics. Do you have any tips that would help me test the waters first instead of jumping straight in? Yeah, just go to your thrift stores and garage sales. I would start with remotes. The return rate on remotes are even lower than clothing, which is awesome. But cameras and iPods and AirPods and all those things have a significantly higher return rate than clothing. So I would stick to remotes and calculators. Just keep watching my What Solds videos, and you'll see a lot of these items that I'm selling. And yeah, just slowly dip into it. I would not buy any lots of remotes or cameras because you don't know what you're doing yet. Just keep buying things piece by piece and slowly learning. People use price charting on video games. It isn't. Yeah, it's not. I was talking about this earlier. People try to clown me in my Facebook videos, and they can clown me all they want because first of all, it makes me more money because my videos get spit out to more people, so it's great. And second of all, I've already sold these items that they're telling me doesn't sell for those prices, so it's awesome. To clarify, Christmas selling fees were, yeah, you've already answered this a couple of times. We can't file an S corp for this year, sadly, because of the deadline. Going to be a crap ton of self-employment taxes. Yeah, that extra 15% is gonna suck. But yeah, next year, just get that S corp, and yeah, just make sure that you have. You can keep everything in like a QuickBooks or whatever. But once you have that S corporation, it's nice because your tax team can see everything that goes into your bank account, your business bank account, and everything that goes out of it. And everything that goes out of that bank account is going to be business expenses, so they can just keep track of it and write it off for you. Or they are going to be your payroll, paying yourself, or they are going to be withdrawals where you take extra money for your own personal life. But you'll learn more about that. But it's really easy because if I have $100,000 in my bank account and 80,000 comes out and 50K is for payroll and 30,000 is for expenses, then it's nice and easy. And I have my credit cards and stuff. My accountants have access to all of my statements and stuff, so they know exactly what money is being spent on what, and they can deduct it. And it's really nice. It's really nice having a team. The phone is way faster for photos. Yeah, it definitely is. How do you find the sell-through rate on items so quickly in your videos? I've just been doing this for 4 years, and it's the thing that I talk about and focus on the most. But yeah, you just look up the item sell-through rate, and there you go. Going back a few minutes when you'll see my comment, I'll talk crap on tech. You guys heard it here first. Dragon Master Finds will talk crap on tech and sports. Aw, gee, Jake, always looking out for me. Anthony, do I need to call you and talk you off a ledge? Guys, Anthony and Biscuit Butt are my two friends that I've met through eBay reselling. I've met Archie in person because we used to live just 150 miles away from each other. Haven't met Anthony yet, but hopefully one day. Question: does revising and or relisting make a difference in how items is seen or sold? If your items suck, yeah. If you have really good items, then you don't have to do this. So if you're trying to sell a Frank Sinatra CD, oh yeah, dude. I delist and relist every day, but it's just on items that have been in my store for 90 days plus. And the more items that you pick up that have a faster sell-through rate, the less items that you will have to do this with. So the faster sell-through rate of your store, the less you have to do this. The slower sell-through rate of your store, the more you have to do this. But I don't think it's effective if you don't adjust the price. If you have something up for $40 and nobody wants it, and then you take it down and relist it for $40, people still don't want it. But if you mark it down to 35, you might get some bites. I feel the same. I am concerned with finding enough items to pay the bills. Yeah, so you gotta find that mix, right? So you need to pay your bills, but you're going to have less bills if you're buying less items, right? One of the biggest bills that we have in our eBay business and in our personal lives is inventory. I buy significantly more inventory dollar-wise than I pay on all of my mortgages. It's insane. So, and that becomes a personal expense when it's coming out of your bank account, right? So as you source better items, you're going to be spending less money because you're not buying 15 items that suck for $4 each. You're only buying 3 items that rock for $4 each. So you're only spending $12 instead of, how many items did I say? 15? Instead of $60. That makes a huge difference day in and day out. How did you find camera suppliers? I found them on ebay.com. You look up digital camera lot and you follow the people that sell a ton of them. And then you talk to them about selling them to you. Do you do any work on Sundays? I do not. I take Sunday completely off, hang out. I go to church every Sunday, and I hang out with my family. My wife and I, that's kind of our day that we have more time to spend with each other. And then we go to church, and then we have a family dinner every Sunday. So I don't do any work on Sunday at all. Word has it, if you hit the like button, Jake will guarantee you'll hear a cha-ching. It's true. Just kidding. I hear you. I got a 200% sell-through rate on my store. I'm trying to scale it with the same sell-through rate, but I'm part-time. That's my issue. Yeah, the chance of scaling a 200% sell-through rate store and keeping a 200% sell-through rate is very small. It's possible, but it's pretty because your items are selling so fast that your store doesn't grow, and that's a good thing. It's a great thing. So, but there's nothing wrong with picking up some 50 to 80% sell-through rate items as well, because if you can get them at the right price and they sell for a huge margin, then you can have that. So you don't have. So when I say only pick up good in-demand items, I'm not saying every single one of the items you pick up have to be a 100% sell-through rate or faster, but I am saying that they should be 50% sell-through rate or faster. A 50% plus sell-through rate store is a great one. 80% is even better. 200% is phenomenal. I would shoot for a 50% sell-through rate store, and then once you're doing that, just set the goal to get to 80%. And then when you're doing that, set the goal to get to 100. But if you're already at 200%, if you list a ton of 50 to 80% sell-through rate items, in the next 90 days, you're still going to have like 125% sell-through rate, because you'll continue to find those 200% sell-through rates, and you'll list those 50 to 80% sell-through rate as well. Biscuit Butt and Anthony are talking. I live near a wholesale outlet store. Is it okay to list items in that store before buying them first? If you know that they're going to be there, for sure. That's called drop shipping. For a few months, for whatever reason, because of COVID and supply chains and stuff, strawberry zero sugar monsters were selling for like $15 on eBay because they weren't available in certain locations of the country. But in Utah, every time I went to a gas station, there were hundreds of them, right? So I listed one with a multi-quantity of 99, and I would sell them. And every time one or 5 or 10 sold, I would just go to the gas station and I would buy them for $1.89 each, and I would ship them out for $15. But you have to make sure that your wholesale location has a high supply of those items, or else you're gonna have to cancel orders and it'll affect your store. So yeah, it's okay to do that. I've also sold. I found a Walmart toy that had an okay sell-through rate, and I took the risk of just like putting it on the floor and listing it, and then not buying it, and then someone bought it 9 days later, and it was still there at my store, and so I bought it and sold it. It was great. So you can definitely do it. Can you just have ChatGPT write the listings for you, then copy and paste? I think Texas Gal Treasures did a video about that. Yeah, you can. But again, it's still just faster to just do it with your phone. You just copy a listing that already sold, and you list your item, and it's so fast. Because ChatGPT can't take photos for you. That's the block. Especially for tech and sport listers, is you have to take all of your photos with a camera and then transfer them to your computer, and then AI can take care of it for you. But if you just take your photos with your phone and list on your phone, it's so fast. I never brown nose the algorithm. Reality Smacks. Reality Smacks, you're very active here on YouTube. Are you over on First Class Treasures, just with a different name? Because you're very awesome and supportive here on YouTube. You leave a lot of comments. You're always in these live shows. I'd love to see you on First Class Treasures if you haven't joined yet. For those 21 cameras listed in 35 minutes, about how much time do you estimate you have in cleaning and testing them? 30 seconds each camera. Yeah, I just have all of these batteries right here, and I just list them. I just test them, and then let's see if I have any dirty cameras right now. All right, here's a camera that hasn't been listed yet. This is how I clean them. Usually on a table, but one squirtle on the back. Of course, this is out. Okay, someone time me. One squirtle on the back, one squirtle on the front. Do this. Just very clean, ready to list. And then to test it, I just open it up. I put in the SD card and the battery that it goes with. I turn it on. make sure that the lens comes out properly. I take a picture, make sure that the flash works, and I make sure that the screen is in good condition, and you're good to go. So, yeah, honestly, with my cameras, I think I make over $1,500 an hour. Like, it's insane. If I could just get, if I could get 1,000 cameras a day, every day, forever, I would. I probably wouldn't. Yeah, actually, I just get employees. If I could get 1,000 digital cameras every day at the right price, I would do it. It'd be awesome. I wish that there were 1,000 available like that every single day. That would be insane. But yeah, the testing and cleaning and listing process is oh so easy. And if me and my wife are doing it together, so like if she's listing cameras while I'm testing and cleaning them, man, we can get hundreds up per hour. It's awesome. Help! There's only one thrift store in my area, and they recently raised their prices. Where else can I find good things to sell? This was me in St. George. I just had one thrift store. I also had like 2 very small ones. But yeah, if your area sucks, you don't have to be dependent on it whatsoever. I talk about this on my channel a lot. Sounds like you're probably new. I get a lot of my items from firstclasstreasures.com in the live shows. A lot of sellers will sell 10 vinyls, and they go anywhere between $5 and $20. So my cost of goods are 50 cents to $2 per vinyl, and I've sold them for $40 each. It's great. I'm able to buy pocket knives for $1 to $5 that sell for 20 to 60. If you watch my what sold videos, I'm constantly saying, "Hey, I got this off First Class Treasures." Also, what we've been talking about a lot in this show is I get a lot of lots off of eBay. So you can. I've said this in my last live. The only reason why I'm currently going to thrift stores is for content, because it's really easy content to film me finding awesome treasures and then posting it on YouTube. It's very entertaining and educational for you guys. So those videos do really well. But if it wasn't for content creation, I don't even think that I would go to thrift stores or yard sales. I would just do my business 100% online. Because yeah, I have about 500 items sent to my house per week of cameras, AirPods, eyeglasses, all of those things. And of those 500, usually about 150 of them are worth reselling individually. So I list 140 to 150 items per week. And then everything else, I'm able to lot up and sell in bulk on eBay or on First Class Treasures. I almost always do it on First Class Treasures. So that way my supporters can get a good deal and I can pay less in fees. It's awesome. So yeah, you can do. I would do this business when we start to have kids. I may just do this 100% from home. Be pretty awesome. Where do you source your shipping supplies? Not boxes, but bubble wrap, mailers, etc. I have tried Temu once. Temu's not great. I get my bubble wrap from American Bubble Boy. I get 4 huge rolls sent to my house every 2 weeks, and it's just on a cycle, so it's awesome. Don't have to worry about it. And then I get all of my shipping supplies from GyroPack. Because I have a YouTube channel, I get those items for free. But I think there's a link in the description below for those as well. You'll get 10% off your first order. I use GyroPack. And I would recommend GyroPack. They're actually really good. Have you ever used the eBay OOS feature? It keeps out-of-stock listings active and can replenish them while keeping the watchers and views, etc. Yeah, if I had like a ton of multi-quantity listings, I would do that. But I don't have any of those, so I just go to whatever aisle interests me the most that doesn't have someone in it at the time. Strategy. Crap items drag your store down. And it's not because of the algorithm, it's because people don't want your items. So if you have a store with 1,000 bad items and 300 good items, your 300 good items will continue to get views and will sell, but you'll have 1,000 bad items. And if you keep listing bad items, eventually you'll have 2,000 bad items and 5,000 bad items and 45,000 bad items and 100,000 bad items. But you'll still have 200 to 400 good items. And those 200 to 400 good items will keep selling.